sitting here watching someone missing her son's high school graduation because she has an obligation to be at this event? Are you fucking kidding me? Hey you guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So today, if you are a loyal subscriber, you already know that I do MLM horror stories or MLM experiences that people have gone through, witnessed, and seen. They send it to me through my email, and then I read it for you guys or listen to it when people do send me videos. That's going to be what we do today, and I've got my Starbucks cup. I haven't gone to Starbucks in a while. I'm trying to get better at making coffee at home, but I've got my white chocolate mocha. I am ready. I've got my Conquer shirt. This was actually a shirt I made when I was in Beachbody, and I thought, why not wear it for this video? It just makes sense. Also, if you did not catch my live on Wednesday, I now have channel memberships, which are so exciting, and I now have a Patreon, and on Patreon, you do get a lot more perks when it comes to one-on-one time with me, asking me questions, having a chat, community group on the side, and all of that good stuff. So if you guys want to join that, I'll have the link down below. Again though, don't feel obligated to join if you cannot. I know we are going through a pandemic, so if you can't afford anything, please don't feel like you need to. My content is going to stay the same, and it's always going to be the best for you guys. People who join my memberships though will just get a little extra taste of things. So that is all. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's get into today's video. Okay, so first story, I have a couple today, a couple different ones, so I hope you guys enjoy them. Definitely make sure to listen to the end because I don't want you guys to miss people's stories. So they say, "Hi Deanna, my name is blank. I love your channel and I wanted to share one of my MLM experiences. I say one because I'm a little embarrassed to say that I have not just been a part of one MLM. I've been a part of 3: Beachbody, Rodan and Fields, and one other one, which is the one I wanted to share with you. But if you like this story, I can share other experiences with the other MLMs too. Apologies if this is a really long story." Again, doesn't matter if they're long. I love long ones. She goes, "The very first MLM that I was a part of is the grandfather of all MLMs, Amway. It all started 10 years ago. I was 20 years old and I had taken a year off school because I didn't get into the college that I had wanted to. I was working as a nanny and making enough money to pay for rent, bills, grocery, and to have a little life. I used to take this little girl that I looked after to the mall often because she had a free playground inside that she could play on. There was a lady at the playground one day with her children. She was all alone and we ended up making eye contact with one another, and before I knew it, we were sitting together while the kids played. We started making small talk, asking each other questions. She really wanted to get to know me. She asked me what I did for a living and if I had a boyfriend or husband. I shared myself with her and then I asked her similar questions. She told me that she was the owner of her own online store. I was immediately intrigued. It sounded pretty cool, and I asked her what she sold. But she went on to say that her store sells everything: beauty products, health and wellness supplements, home cleaners for your whole house, etc. I told her that was cool, and she said I also help people become owners of their own stores. And she said if I would be interested in learning how to make an additional income for myself. Honestly, I didn't want to offend her, so I said sure, I would be interested to hear more about the store. I really wasn't that interested in owning my own business, given that I had zero idea how to run one. But I told her I would look at what she has to sell. She also seemed really nice and thought, hey, I'm making a new friend. So we met for coffee one evening and she came with like 20 different pamphlets and this huge book all about the business. She sat me down and told me all about what they sold, how the company would send them on a bunch of different vacations. Once a year, they got to go to Orlando, Florida to Universal Studios, where Amway bought the whole park out for a day. So the Amway crew got to run the park. She also told me that if you work this business like a part-time job, i.e. 15 to 20 hours a week, that in the next 4 years, I could be a millionaire. She told me to take her book home with me and to share it with my boyfriend. She was having a get-together at her place in 2 days to share this business further, and I should bring my boyfriend as well. Definition. What is a get-together, you may ask? Typically, it's more of a successful person in the company opens up their home to their downline and any of their potential prospects to put on a presentation about the business, like a cocktail party. Basically, going into a bit more detail on how the company is structured, how to get paid, and of course, talking about how you can become financially free. Side note about Amway, they are very old school, traditional. At least the group that I saw was. They like to sign people up who were couples, to be very specific, white, young Christian couples. This became very apparent later on. The man of the house did all the presenting and all of the talking when you went to the get-togethers, and he was the one who answered any and all questions you had about the business. The women were to look pretty and sit quietly beside their husband. Bitch. Anyway, my boyfriend and I went to this get-together. After a nearly 2-hour presentation, we ended up signing up. Our jobs were to start telling everyone we knew about our new online store, get people to shop in our store, but most importantly, we should be recruiting other people to start their own online store as well. We were told by our upline to buy from our own store whenever possible, to stop buying from a retail store, and of course there were minimums that had to be bought or sold every month in order to be active, which usually meant us spending money on crap that we didn't need. Probably the worst part about this business though was the excess amount of training and events we had to attend. So let me stop really quickly. I definitely get what she means by being active. So if you are new to the anti-MLM community, or you don't know anything about MLMs and you're just stumbling across this video, in order to be active with an MLM, most MLMs state you have to purchase anywhere from $50 to $150 a month to be active, or you have to sell at least $50 to $150 worth of product. Now, if you're not active, a lot of the times you can't receive commissions, and there's a lot of stipulations, like you can't receive bonuses and all of these things, even though you're still signing people up, which is the real messed up part about it. I don't like that. I don't think that's really cool. I feel like if you own your own business, right, that's what they do. They own their own business in MLMs. You shouldn't have to buy something to stay active. Like if I was running my own company, right? If I was running my own business, or let's just say even YouTube, right? Say YouTube, I have a channel. I'm not going to every month go and buy new SD cards, new battery packs for my camera, new camera gear if I don't need it. So how does that make sense? When you run your own business, you can choose what inventory you need or what things you need to continue running your business. Just like anyone else. You guys know Kimberlea. I actually have watched a little bit of her backstage stuff in, her inventory and how she does it. And she's not going to go out and buy extra phone cases just because she needs to stay active. That's no such thing. She's going to buy inventory when she sees herself running out of the inventory she already has, because that's how it should be in a business. But with them, it's not really how it is. So let's keep going. Remember the get-togethers I mentioned earlier? They were held in my upline's house every 2 weeks, and we were supposed to go to them even if we didn't have any potential recruits to invite with us. They told us it was a good training for us when we had our own teams. These get-togethers were the same thing every 2 weeks. Same mingling, same drinks and appetizers, and then the same 2-hour presentation about the business. We were usually at the house between 6:30 p.m. to 11 every 2 weeks. We were told we had to dress up to look the part of a business owner. Then once a quarter, they had they had a provincial-wide training held at the event center. My husband and I lived in a city where this training was held, so we didn't have to travel, but there were people who came every 3 months to the city for this training. This was a huge night, starting at like 2 p.m. on a Saturday. The Amway reps would go in for training, which was just a bunch of really successful people in the business giving the same old rah-rah speeches about how they became millionaires trying to pump you up. This is where it became evident about who was successful again. It was a lot of younger, typically those who were like 35, white Christian couples who shared stories like how God led them on this amazing path, how they are now retired and living their best lives. Y'all know how I feel about bringing my Lord, Savior, and my God into these MLMs. I don't like it. Keep him out of that, okay? Keep God out of it. That's how I feel. It was very cult-like, very scary thinking about it now. So this event went from 2 p.m. until about 5 p.m. And then there was a break for supper, and then you were supposed to bring recruits with you for the next part of the event from 7 to 8:30 p.m. I think where they would share the opportunity with all of the people you were to bring. Again, even if you didn't have anyone to share it with, my upline would make us feel we had to be there for this part of the event as well. We had heard this speech so many times about the business opportunity opportunity that we were beginning to get bored hearing about it. This event happened every 3 months about the same shit, maybe a different presenter, but always a male. Finally, the final event that Amway put on, this was their yearly event it had held in a major city, 6 hours from where we lived. And we again were encouraged to go. This was a weekend event. It started on a Friday night and we went until Sunday afternoon. Normally we would have to pay for a hotel. I told my upline we couldn't afford a hotel for 2 nights in this particular city because the prices were outrageous. My upline told me that her upline lived in the city and had a huge house, and that we were more than welcome to stay at their place. This was a little awkward. I hadn't met them before, and we were going to be staying in this place for a whole weekend. My upline's upline was an older Christian woman. They had been with Amway at the time for 20 years, as long as I had been born at that time. They welcomed us with their $1 million home in Calgary, Alberta on Friday evening, and we all spent the first event, which was a supper. Side note, both my husband and I had to take Friday off work so that we could drive to Calgary in order to get to this supper event. The dinner lasted until midnight, and we got about 6 hours of sleep that night because the next day we had to get up early as the main events on Saturday started at like 8 a.m. We were again advised to dress up for these events. My upline told me and my boyfriend that we had to drive with them to the event because parking would be crazy. We went with them to this event, but my upline and their upline got to sit in much better seats than my boyfriend and me because of their rank in the company. Y'all, this is very common. When I was in Beachbody, you guys want me to do a video on this, I can. I've gone to Summit, I have gone to 2 retreats, I've gone and been sent to Tony Robbins, I've gone to a lot of events, and especially at Summit, that big event of the year, it's literally like they praise these people at the top who are honestly just sitting on their ass, and their downlines are the ones doing all of the work. And it's really sad to watch those people who get those better seats who truly don't deserve that, in my opinion. Like, they don't. The people under them are the ones that are putting in all of that work, and they're putting in all of those hours, and then their upline gets paraded around because of that, because the people on their team are working so hard. It does not make sense to me. We had to sit in the very back of a packed auditorium on fold-out chairs from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. listening, of course, to a couple dozen stories from different couples who were millionaires on how they made it with Amway. There was one story that stood out to me. That was because this was a single mom who happened to make it big. I was told later that she was once married, got divorced, and she got to keep the Amway company. She stood out to me because she shared with everyone that she came to speak to everyone about her successes, but she was missing her son's high school graduation because of the event. She thought it was more important to come and speak to all of us than to be there for her son's graduation. Much later on our drive home from Calgary, I remember turning to my boyfriend, by the way, he is now my husband, and saying, "Don't you ever let our future children's high school graduation for anyone." Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. Let's break this down before I continue. Sorry, this is a long story, so I'm trying to break things down. That's ridiculous. These MLMs are supposed to be the end-all be-all, right? People in MLMs like to say, oh, you're gonna get time freedom, you're gonna be able to spend more time with your family, you're gonna be able to do this, you're gonna be able to do that, but then we're sitting here watching someone missing her son's high school graduation because she has an obligation to be at this event? Are you fucking kidding me? No, I don't even have kids, and I don't care if my nephew or my niece or my future children were graduating from high school. I'm taking off work. I don't care. I'm not working that day. I'm not doing social media that day. I don't give a crap, but that day's for my child or for my niece or nephew. That's a huge day to miss out on, and that just goes to show that even the people at the top, they don't get time freedom. They don't get the freedom to do whatever they want. They have to be on their phones 24/7. They have to be at these events. When you're at these events, you're not even making money. Think about that. When this lady who missed her son's graduation doesn't have the flexibility to be able to even go to her own son's graduation, she goes to this event, she speaks. While she's speaking, you're not getting paid to speak. So you're making $0 to go on stage and do that. So while you're not even able to see your son's graduation, you don't have time freedom, you're not able to choose your hours, and you're not even getting paid while you're up on stage giving your success story. So that's just what I don't get it. I don't get why they say you have time freedom, you have all of this freedom, and you don't. And please, in the comments down below, you guys know I like to hear what you think. But when you were in your MLM, if you were ever in one, or if you know a friend who's in one, when are they not on their fucking phones or on these team calls or going to these events? They're wasting so much precious time where they can be doing other things like going to their son's graduation. I cannot believe that. I'm in total, complete shock that that's even a thing. Let's keep going. This event went till 5 p.m. We went out for supper, and then there was another talk at 8 p.m. in a hotel. And because we had to drive with our upline, we had to go to this talk too. This talk lasted until 2 a.m. We got like 4 hours of sleep that night, and the next day there was more. My boyfriend and I told our upline we would drive our own car to the event center this time because we were going to leave the event for home as soon as it was over. We got in our car to go to the event, and as we started driving, I told my boyfriend that I was done. I didn't want to do this anymore. He agreed. We skipped the Sunday event and went home. My upline didn't even notice because we wouldn't have gotten to sit with them anyways. I never spoke to my upline again. I just quit. Savage. After listening to all the success stories and all the rah-rah, it was this major event that was supposed to be so inspirational, motivational, that ultimately made up my mind to quit this MLM. I thought anyone who has to make sacrifices like missing incredible milestone moments in their children's lives to come speak to a bunch of strangers does not have true freedom. It was so exhausting, and I still can't believe how much time we wasted on listening to boring, braggy speeches. We made $0 when it came to this business, but we did learn a few life lessons along the way. I wish I could say I learned my lesson when it comes to MLMs, but I did join 2 more for different reasons. It wasn't the promise of becoming a millionaire for the other ones. If you would like to hear those stories, let me know. Thanks for listening to me, your friend blank. I don't know if she wants her name said. That is one of the craziest stories I've ever seen. And that is crazy that that event is the thing that made her quit. It was supposed to be inspirational and motivational, like she said. In the end, it's not. Like, you sit there, right, in an audience and you listen to these success stories, and these people talk about how they're millionaires, they're making so much money, but then they're missing, like she said, big milestones in their children's lives. They are literally scamming the people underneath them, and the people under them are nearly making no money, because in most MLMs, I always suggest looking at that MLM's income disclosure statement or that MLM's compensation plan, because they're all different. And yes, while I always say, the FTC does say that 99.6% of people don't make money and lose money, but I do think it's important to look at every MLM separately when we're talking about those MLMs. But I just find this whole entire story so crazy, and it's not even worth it. Like, to also sit there and watch these people talk about their success stories, it's just scammy. It's braggy, it's disgusting. It's like, wow, you're earning that much money by barely doing shit and just having the people under you work their ass off while they're losing money. Because again, like I said, most people in MLMs lose money and don't make money. It's really sad, and it's not a good thing. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and let's move on to another one. Okay, so this one is a Monat one, and you guys know I love talking about this MLM. It is one I've done pretty decent research on to know a lot of facts behind it, so I do like to talk about it, so let's get into it. They go, "Hi Deanna, after watching your Monat horror stories," I will link that above. I do have a Monat horror story specific one because I do get a lot of Monat people sending me their horror stories, so I have made a specific Monat MLM horror story video if you guys want to check that out after. I was recruited into Monat, and like many others, sold on the dream. I signed up right after Christmas in 2019 and just decided to leave the company in March of 2020. I was so excited to start living the lush life that uplines and leaders in the company live, and so I was determined to make it work. Now, I did sign up on impulse, knowing nothing about MLMs. Once I got my product pack and did the trainings, I would be on every single Zoom call meeting and active in every single group chat, spending all of my free time on my business. When I reached out and told someone higher up that I wasn't getting anywhere with this, I was told to cold message and focus on recruiting. But how do you recruit if you aren't trained on how to do so? As soon as I was told that, it was a red flag. I never cold messaged anyone, friends, family, or strangers, because it was so sleazy. I thought to myself, how would I react if I got a message like that just so some strange girl on IG can make a hot dollar? Yeah, no thanks. When I reached out again, I said I wasn't comfortable recruiting in that way. They said, get vulnerable. I was told to exploit my struggles with my eating disorder, which even almost 2 years into recovery still doesn't feel good to talk about. Unfortunately, I did share a little, but here and there about my struggles with my disorders, but nothing happened. It only made me look foolish, and I regret everything I've done for this company. When I told everyone I was on the calls, doing the trainings, personal development, etc., I was told it was still my fault. The reality of MLMs is that 1% succeed and 99% fail. A fact I wish I would have known before joining. I, like many others, was told my college education was not good enough and that everyone needs to be sold on this opportunity. And that hurt because I take a lot of pride in my college degree and they know that. The hair care did work for me, but the skincare, that shit burnt my face like no tomorrow. Since leaving, I've decided that even though I like the hair products, I will discontinue using them because I cannot support companies that prey on the vulnerable to make sales. It's extremely unethical, and not to mention, I'm not a trained professional or beauty professional. I asked myself, how would I like it if someone who didn't have an education came into my field of work that I needed to get a degree into? I wouldn't like it at all. When I discovered the anti-MLM community, I came to the realization this wasn't a golden ticket opportunity like it was marketed to be. It was cringy, full of lies, and fake relationships. I also did digging and realized that, okay, my income may be untapped if I get to the top, but I won't have benefits, a pension, or anything else that a regular 9-to-5 would give me, and I do need that structure and security. Multi-level marketing ain't it. Thank you for doing what you do, using your platform to educate people on unsustainable business models. Thank you. I feel like this one is a lot to unpack. First off, for these MLMs, I see it a lot. I see uplines tell people to use their struggles, like she said she struggled with certain disorders when it comes to her relationship with food. She struggled with that, and it's sad because women or men that are in that position struggling with their relationship with food, you see someone out there who's doing something that's helping their disorder, you're going to want to give it a try. I know, and clearly what I'm about to say, it's not even equivalent to having an ED, right? It's not. But for me with my migraines, I'm at the point in my life where I will try literally anything to help my migraines go away. And if I didn't know about MLMs and the shitty business practices and the shitty things they do, I may be more vulnerable to purchasing a product that someone says it's helped their migraines. Someone recently said Shakeology doesn't give them migraines anymore. Shakeology tastes like fucking dirt. Don't drink it. But maybe if I wasn't, ever been in MLM and I wasn't educated on it and I seen that, I may have joined because of it. And that's what they do. And it's sad to see that those uplines wanted her to essentially use her disorder to then recruit people. I also thought it was funny that she went to her uplines and told her uplines like, hey, I'm not really getting anywhere. And then their response was to recruit people. And that's the thing, is their response is to recruit. And do you know why? Because you make more money doing it. Because you make profit off of those below you. And yes, every MLM, the compensation plan's a little bit different, but essentially you make a percentage off of your downline. And that's the thing that's shitty, is they're not going to tell you, oh, go make sure you sell more product. Let's, help you figure out how to market the products better. They could have done that. They could have been like, hey girl, let's try and figure that out. Because in a normal business, if you're in sales, which is essentially what network marketing is, you're selling something in an MLM, they may do that. Like, oh, let's properly educate you on this product. Let's work on your marketing tactics. Let's see what you're doing and what we can change to help you market the product better. But no, the response is to recruit more people because that's how you can make easier money quicker. You're going to make more money if you have a downline than if you only have customers. Ask anybody at the top of an MLM, ask anybody that has left an MLM where they made the most money, and it's going to be on their downline. And lastly, the college thing. It does frustrate me being someone that I have 1 degree, I'm going for my 2nd degree, I'm almost done with this one, I'm going to go for a 3rd degree because that's what I want to do and that's going to take me to where I want to be. And for MLMs to put down college so much is so shitty, or to put down college, med school, trade schools, like for a lot of jobs that's needed. Now, I think 2020 is amazing. I think, well, now with the pandemic and everything, I don't think that's amazing or where a lot of people are in their life right now because of all of the struggles. What I mean though is I I like 2020 because in this day and age, people can do other things. You can make money on social media. You could stream for video games. You can do online jobs where all you need is a computer. A lot of companies are allowing people to work from home, and they have that opportunity where you don't need to go to college. You don't need to go to college to be a streamer for video games. Or I know a lot of YouTubers who are big YouTubers that didn't have to go to college because they made it big in YouTube. TikTokers who are making it big. And that's the thing. You see a lot more people not going to college now. But for certain jobs, you have to go to, whether it's college or trade school or med school, any type of schooling or certification process that you need to get. And these MLMs put that down so much. And I want to know why. We can't have doctors, nurses, therapists, dentists, electricians, plumbers. Like, those people have to do some type of schooling to learn their job to help people. So stop putting down college. I get it. There are some colleges that are pure scams. You can actually Google that. I don't want to say this college's name on my channel, but there is a college out there that actually had no accreditations. So people went to their college, they spent money, and then their degree meant nothing, and those people had to go back to college. So that's why I do say it's very important, if you want to get your college degree, to make sure you're going to a school that is credited where you're going to want to get a job, right? So you want to make sure, if you're in the state of California, that you're going to a school that's going to translate to you being able to get a job there. So that's like really important to look at. But stop putting people down, because these MLMs are all about empowerment, but then you want to essentially tear down the people that are in it. And she got teared down for the college thing. And it's like, well, aren't you supposed to be empowering this woman who's in your MLM? But instead you're tearing down her life choices of going to college and telling her that this is the only way, when it's not. There's a million ways in 2020 to be able to do things, right? So I don't know, that just, all of that, like, I feel like that was such a short story, but it had a lot jam-packed into it, things that I don't agree with. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm so happy that she's gone out of the MLM. She realized like the tactics that are along with it, and glad that she found the anti-MLM community. And that's what it's about, you guys. I say this over and over and over again, is lately I've been seeing a lot more MLM reps calling us haters and bullies and this and that, and we have to take that with a grain of salt, because they do feel essentially attacked because we're giving facts, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But it's how they feel. We can't tell them not to feel any other way, but if we continue as a community to move forward and be genuine and not be mean, not disrespect anybody, but rather give facts and be loving and caring, I feel like that's a better way to help people that are in MLMs realize the facts, or even help people that want to get out. I'm gonna read you guys probably one more horror story, and then we'll be done for today. Hi Deanna, I don't have any stories myself of MLM scams and recruiting cringe-worthy stories much myself. Although I had a lady who reached out to me because she knew my little sister's boyfriend's mom and pushed Miriam on me when I was a single pregnant 19-year-old. Talk about weird looking back now. Anyways, I got certified as a health coach. I know this is no registered dietitian degree, and those people are absolutely incredible for all the work they do. But I did drop $6,000 to be certified to help people go through actual work and teach them how to realistically have healthy habits, and makes me so mad to see these coaches who know nothing about health except smiling at a camera, often using their kids to leverage their posts, and they get so much love on everything they do. And my community in Missouri, right? Is that right? It's so saturated, and it's beyond crazy how any of these women think they will succeed. A friend of mine who I'm not really close with, but recently lost her job due to COVID, just had twins, and she got sucked into this. And they all watched me go through school and start to build my business, because I can't tell you how many DMs I have received from them, thinking probably that someone who is bothering to get an actual certification to help people would be great to recruit. Anyways, just a perspective from someone who is actively learning, getting certified, and wants to actually help. It is extremely frustrating. Most people will associate me with these hunbots who prey on people. I work so hard, and it's just very frustrating. Love what you do. I also watch Kiki Chanel. She's amazing. watching. It's only been a few weeks since I found you both, but I love what you guys do to educate. Much love. That's amazing. Congrats on your certifications and doing all of that. That is so awesome. And I do agree. You said it's very frustrating because women associate you with hun bots. And that is the shitty thing that is going on right now with social media is the hun bots. And if you don't know what hun bots are, it's essentially just people in MLMs. They are literally taking over social media that now actual registered personal trainers, actual registered health coaches or dietitians and nutritionists and actual hairstylists are being looked at sideways. And a lot of the time, even myself, I've done it. I've gone onto, say, an Instagram page and it's a nutritionist. I have to like look at her page and be like, okay, is she an actual nutritionist or is she in an MLM? And I'll like search and I'll kind of know within the first 5 minutes of searching her page if she is an actual nutritionist. And that sucks that they are now in a situation where they're associated with MLM reps because these MLM reps have zero education. They have no right to be talking about these things on social media, and they're taking jobs and opportunities from people who have actually put their time into educating themselves and being certified. So that is super crappy, and I wish there was like something we could do to help it, but it sucks now. And let me know down below how you feel about social media, but it's shitty. Every time you go on social media, you have to check someone's page and be like, oh, is she an MLM rep? And you have to like be a little detective on everyone's freaking profile to make sure they're not selling something. And that is shitty because again, it does take those jobs away from the people who have done what they needed to do, got certified or went to school for it, and it's just really not fair. And that's exactly why I'm going to keep talking about anti-MLM stuff, because I don't think it's fair when it comes to Beachbody calling themselves coaches when there are actual coaches out there that have done their work. I don't think it's right for Herbalife to try and give nutrition advice when, oh my gosh, I can't even get into Herbalife right now because they annoy the fuck out of me. Or Monate, when it comes to hair care, you're taking a job from an actual hairstylist who put in the time and the effort, and it's not cool. But that is pretty much all for this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of content. Make sure to like this video if you liked it and comment down below so we can chat. I love having you guys in the comment section. And really quickly, I want to thank all of my channel members. I'm gonna shout some of them out right now. Soph, Melissa, DJ, Sarah, Kayla, Allison, Bonnie, Light Labs, Leah, Katie, Jenna, Christina, Rachel, Paulina, Michaela, Chelsea, Kennedy, The Right Journey, Julia, Justin, and Sayantani. I hope I said your name right. I'm so sorry if I didn't, but I did want to give you guys a little shout out. And then my patrons, I have 3 so far. I want to thank Katie, Megan, and Julia for joining on Patreon. Those links will be down below if you guys do want to join any of my channel memberships or my Patreon memberships. So again, thank you guys so much for supporting me and my channel. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in Monday's video.